Hey, hey, hey. Uh, been sick a few days. A little bit of snow plowing I got kind of caught me off guard, but hey, I'm coming back around. It'll work itself out. Anyways, got a good one here, everybody. Garden predators. Everything from hmm, everything to rabbits to moles. I mean, they're all a big issue, um, including deer. And everybody's got this funky wives' tale, what have you, that gardens should be pest free. That's not nature's way. Uh, Everything is food web. You build a garden, you're calling in certain types of predators. Um, the question that triggered this was how to keep deer out of your garden. Well, you can plant marigolds, but marigolds attract other wildlife because they like marigolds, like rabbits. There goes your lettuce, and there goes your this, and there goes your that, and then they burrow, and there goes your carrots, and there goes your. See, it's catch 22. It's catch 22. Um, on your large scale, I'd be looking at solar wire and solar. Uh, there's a way to set the wires up individually. You kind of set it up like a triangle. Um, at least that's the way it looks from the side. When you look at it from front to back, you have a wire down on the ground. About 3 feet in, you have another wire. About a foot back from that, you go up and you have another wire, and then above that, you have another wire. This three-dimensional cage of solar power zap wire is enough to confuse the deer, and the deer won't go into the garden. Once they run into the first zap, they're done. And that will keep out most of your smaller game animals too, your rabbits and your what have you at that size, because you set the wires at different heights to catch each and every one of them coming in. Um, and you want your front wire about a foot off the ground or so that the deer step into it. Um, but you can still get in there with a lawnmower and go through them without hesitation. Um, what I find best is predatory animals keep other animals at bay. So dogs running around, leaving droppings in that area, what have you. Um, scenting the area will keep a lot of your predatory, will keep a lot of your animals out. You see deer in your backyard, near your garden, what have you, let the dogs out. I don't mean the little lippy, fit in your purse ankle snappers. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a real dog. Something that runs about 100 pounds, 200 pounds. Um, a dog, not a stuffed animal. Um, Deer just going to look at that little thing and yeah, well, whatever. Selective breeding by Mother Nature eliminated a lot of those little itty bitty animals for a reason, and here we are with our. We know better than Mother Nature, rebreeding them and bringing in the smaller, just so we have something that fits in our purse and yippies. I know I'm making fun of some dogs. Don't misunderstand. I love all animals. I do. But no, when you're talking about your gardens and talking about worrying about what animals are going to come in there and what pets, what other uh, uh, things are going to come in there eating it, you're building Mother Nature's garden. You're You're building a habitat for them to come in and feed and graze. Um, if you don't want them in your garden, then give them something else to eat on another part of your property. Give them alfalfa, give them molasses deer licks, give them an abundance of apples away from your main garden. Give them someplace else to be. Um, or get dogs. I mean, it's a catch 22. It is. Um, the better your garden is, the healthier the thing is, the more robust and abundant is in food, and animals are going to come because they're hungry too. It's almost like if you talk to a farmer who grows a small garden of his own for his own family. Um, he plants enough in his planting scheme that a third of it is contributed to loss, whether that be from deer and rabbits and moles and what have you coming in to uh, pests and what have you. So he's always a third more than what he thinks he needs, if not more. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of excessive work, but not when you're thinking about Mother Nature's garden. Not when you're thinking about the topsoil and the soil and the food web all taking care of itself and doing its own thing. You're not going to have these kind of issues. You're going to be producing stuff that the animals can't get anywhere else. So yeah, it's going to be extremely attractive to them. So plant more. It's not going to be more work for you until harvesting season. Um, but you're also giving yourself room for Mother Nature to work. Um, I was watching another documentary where a guy had decided he was going to go someplace where they did not have certain types of trees and certain types of fruits growing. And he was going to try and hybrid them and get them to grow in this area. He now has this tremendous farm that is nothing but trees and fruit bearing trees and what have you. And he started off with the recommendations of the state and of the state college and what have you. And I'll reference it another time, but they stated to him that he should have these trees every 60 feet and 60 feet away from each other, blah 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 per acre, and da 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 da. And basically, he had nothing on an acre. And he was right. And when a problem would come in and or pollination would come in, the trees were too far apart from each other to do any good. So he started moving them closer and closer together. Then he started crossbreeding. Then he started this other stuff, and now what he has is trees about every 5 feet apart from each other, and multiple species. And what doesn't work dies and goes back naturally, and what works thrives and comes in even stronger. So you kind of have to think of all of it in Mother Nature's way and set things up so that Mother Nature can do her thing. Um, I understand moles and voles and mice and rats and what I mean. These are all issues that we all deal with in our gardens, um, and none of this stuff I really talked about in the book. Um, yeah, I have natural ways of keeping them out. Um, dogs being number one, because when they run into that feces in the soil, they run, they back off, they don't come into the yard. That's just one instance, but the other is solar. There are a whole lot of solar repellents that you can get, thumpers and what have you, sonics, um, and that would be an area that I would look at for your deer. Would be a sonic alarm. It's a motion detector, basically. Um, And when something comes in and comes close to it, it sets off a sonic sound that repels deer and repels other animals, because it sounds like wounded animal to us, but to other animals, it's going to sound like something is trapped and something is injured, and this is a dangerous area, and they don't want to be there. Um, so it keeps predatory animals out as well. Um, your foxes and your wolves and what have you, they run from it. So start looking at Sonic, everybody. If you've got a wilderness area near you and these animals are around and you're worried about what you're going to do in your garden and how you're going to do things, not only should you put up fencing and lighting on solar powered sensors, but look at these sonic sirens. Look at these sonic alarm systems. They're working. They're driving the animals away, and they've been tested on a bunch of different. Well, I won't go into all the different ways people have been testing these things to see if they work, but these things work. Um, you'll get a couple of years out of them, but put these things around your garden, as these predatory animals come in, um, and run into these alarms and run into these sirens. That's just like there's a gentleman had gone out and he had explored the idea of using a solar powered motion detection switch, to turn on a sprinkler to keep cats out of his backyard and off his garbage cans. And it kept everything out: raccoons, foxes, cats. As soon as something would come into the yard, the sprinkler system would turn on. You could almost do the same thing around your garden, if not do exactly the same thing around your garden. So that every time these predatory animals were noticed, the sprinkler went off and started spraying them. They'd take off in a heartbeat and won't come back. Um, they'll test it a couple of nights in a row, but that'll be the end of it. They won't come back. So, as you guys are thinking about this stuff, what have you, please feel free to email me. That's where I get a lot of these Q&As going. Um, but yeah, there's all natural ways to do things, but you've got to think on Mother Nature's terms. The marigolds around to keep the deer out, and then all of a sudden the marigolds are gone and the deer are there. Well, yeah, because the rabbits came in and ate the marigolds because they love marigolds, especially the fresh sprouts. They'll eat them right down to the ground. They'll be right down to the nub. Um, so just because one works doesn't mean it's not going to attract something else. Um, Human hair is another great one to repel animals. What's that? There's a soap, Irish Spring soap around the garden. Shavings in little pans or what have you, um, will drive them off because of the smell. Um, the deer are coming in because they're attracted to one smell at a distance, but then as they get closer, they pick up on the soap smell. They don't want any part of it. And you know how Irish Spring has that smell. It's going to drive off a lot of these different animals you guys are thinking about. Um, but yeah, look Sonic as your garden and stuff are getting better. A lot more animals are going to be coming in, from the microscopic to large scale herd animals like your deer. Um, Look at burying fencing. Take your chicken wire and put a quarter or half an inch, or well, even more. Rabbits can go kind of deep. I'd go as much as 6 inches down and put your chicken wire. Um, then put your garden back up. Um, Raised beds. They have the wood, but that's a barrier that rabbits can go under and mice can go under and what have you. Um, all of that is great questions, and things to think about. Because as you're building better soil and a better yard, it becomes a whole lot more attractive to a whole lot more animals, and they're going to want to enjoy the same benefits you're getting. So there's things you can do to drive them off to give you the advantage. Um, but look on the sonic side. You don't necessarily need to set the dogs loose every time a deer comes in the yard. It helps, but you don't necessarily need to do that. who wants to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning waiting on a deer? Really? When sonic sirens can do exactly the same thing. Lighting coming on. When floodlights come on, deer scatter. Um, so yeah, just think on the other level, because you want things better, but as things get better, it attracts other animals in. Um, it's a catch 22. Go either direction you want to go with it. Um, but yeah, plant more than you need and be willing to sacrifice some, while at the same time um, plan for that eventuality. Look into sonics. Look into your solar powered your solar powered deterrents. That would be the word. And drives them off naturally. Um, there's a lot of different ways to deal with it. But keep in mind, if it's something you're thinking about growing, you're going to be attracting another animal in that wants to eat that same thing. Um, so it's catch 22. Use Mother Nature's mindset. Use Mother Nature's reasoning. Um, dead animals. Again, that's a disgusting way to look at it. But carcasses around will drive off certain animals. Deer won't come around another dead carcass because they don't want to be near a predatory animal. It's the smell. So don't go any other direction. It's just the smell drives them off. Um, rabbits won't either. Same difference. They won't come around a dead animal. Skunks will, raccoons will, and see you're just calling in other animals. So it's catch 22. But yeah, look at it that way. Head that direction. If that's what you're into and that's what you want to find, that's what you guys want to be looking at. So, grow a better garden, spread word about the book, um, and look into some of these things. I'll eventually be hosting them on my .com, to make it easier for everybody to find them. But yeah, look into alternatives versus just expecting. Hey, Sue, good morning. But that's all I got. Somebody had asked what to deal with the predators and what have you. Um, look at Mother Nature. Think Mother Nature's way. It'll take care of itself. Alrighty, I'm gonna get out of here. We'll talk to you guys later. Again, I'm not feeling great, but I got to recover before Friday, because got to do my thing on Friday. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for stopping in. Have a great day. Oh, cool, sweet girl. Awesome. Let me know what she thinks when she gets it. All right, I'm out of here. We'll talk to you guys later.